gotta look at the camera and do
I've
that. That's
already
what
hit the
sounds
mic.
like.
Took me 2 seconds and I've already hit the mic again. Yeah. Well, all right.
All right.
Okay.
What'd I say?
Sound sync. Oh, yeah. You're supposed to look at the camera and go sound sync.
So you
camera.
have to look at the camera and you gotta say sound sync. Say sound sync.
Who's all in your mind? Who's all in your mind?
I'm distracted.
You can do it.
This is...
I believe in you.
Welcome back to another edition of the PairUcast. Uncovering unnormal through something and or another. I did that on purpose.
I know you did.
Yeah.
Or did you?
Or did I?
Mandela.
That was in the other dimension where I got it right. Maybe.
Maybe the other dimension where you're J-Lo and I'm Shaggy.
Actually, this is Shaggy.
J-Lo.
We're the paranormal guys uncovering
I thought that was for
the
the end.
unknown through unnormalized.
Remember, you said you wanted to save that for the end.
Oh, yeah.
And here you go. Wasting it at the beginning.
Oh.
Now we can't use it.
Crap. Oh, you can edit that. All right, so
Ain't
anywho.
nobody got time for that.
All right, so in this episode, we're going to be discussing
What we want from this.
and by this we mean okay.
This.
Oh, well, all right. No.
No. Keeping it straight here.
Yeah. What we want with everything that we are doing, from the
Yes.
podcast to the YouTube channel to the investigating, the team's website,
Website,
all
yeah.
that. What is our goal? I guess some would say mission statement.
Yeah, why do we do
What we
what
do.
we're doing? And why keep doing it?
Well, we have no clue. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Oh, no. We're done here. What do
Thank
we
you
want?
for listening to another edition of the PairUcast
Yes.
with your host, Shaggy.
And J-Lo. And Audrina. Okay. No, seriously. So many people want different things, right, in this community. You know, you've got those. We're not naming names here. That's not what we do. You know, unless they're big people names. You know, that's obvious that the big teams want to make money. The shows are entertaining. That's what they do. But you know, the people that are down, you know, more on our level, you know, that do this for the love of, just because they enjoy doing it. They don't get paid to do it. They do it because they enjoy it. You know, and if you like our content, listen to it, watch it. If you don't, well, don't. It's that simple.
You forgot to say subscribe.
Oh God, subscribe. Oh, you mean on the last one? Crap.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, right now when you were just naming the list.
Yeah,
You know,
subscribe.
if you like
Oh.
our content and you watch it, you know.
Oh God, my bad. No, but seriously,
If you don't ask, they won't subscribe.
that's right.
You have. It's a constant reminder. You always have to put it
Right.
back there.
We should just get like a flashing sign and we're like, subscribe. So the whole video would just be. But no, what we want, number one, is we want people that like our content to watch it, to listen to it, to comment. Man, I'd love to see more comments.
Oh yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's one thing
I mean-
that we kind of lack.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed. I mean, we don't get a lot of commenters. I mean, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. That's old school. Your mama taught you that, or she should have. If you're just gonna leave a nasty comment, don't bother, because we're gonna block and delete, or delete and block, actually, in that order.
It just depends on the extent.
Yeah,
Of
we're
the
not
negativeness.
right. We're not crossing swords with people anymore. We did that in the past. You want to come at me, bro, and we would fight back. I'm not doing that. I don't have time for that. I'm too busy editing videos that you don't want to watch. So
But why go through this? Having all this gear and
Right.
going out paying for investigations,
exactly.
making quality videos.
Right.
That aren't just, here's a file taken directly off my camera. I'm gonna upload it and title it, file 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why
We go through a lot more work.
Yeah, why do that? Why design a logo and have social media and try to maintain that? For what?
Right. Yeah. What is the purpose?
Yeah, because what do we get out of it? Not really anything.
No.
But
there's so many other things we could be doing.
Yeah, because this isn't free.
No, it's not.
Sure doesn't make it any money. And that's not the end goal either.
Right.
It's not to be paid for what we do.
Right. It's like I was thinking the other day, because there are some teams that their goal is to get paid to do this. Who doesn't want to get paid to do what they love? It's like an entrepreneur type of thing. I totally got that. But they structure their show, or whatever you want to call it, their web series, like the TV shows, the big name TV shows, with voiceovers and sound effects and all that, reenactments. Given the history of the place and that's cool. Interviewing locals, that's all cool.
Yeah, and
but
it shows that you're putting in work.
Exactly.
That's totally fine.
Our idea is more along the lines of a web series it's based on a reality investigation TV show. Basically, what is it really like to investigate? Personally, I'm not taking the time to give the history. I don't necessarily want to know all the history going into it, because that's going to kind of skew what you do. I like to know some details, some names of entities to call out, that kind of stuff.
I wouldn't even use the word reality, though. I'd probably use actuality.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because what we're showing is more along the lines of what paranormal investigation is really like. It's not like TV shows.
Yeah,
right?
the mistakes, the humor.
Mm-hmm. The reality of it, that kind of stuff is the stuff that's normally cut out of the TV shows, because they have to keep it entertaining and they got time constraints. Now, we do cut stuff out for time constraints as well, because no one wants to sit there and watch, an 8-hour, investigation. That would be boring. It's like watching doing evidence reviews, watching the paint dry. So
some people like it, but
I guess
it's not for everybody.
It's
and
not.
we want to appeal more to a general audience and not be very specific, and that's why we have variety of content, such as gaming and PairUcast and.
But we do everything the same, in that we turn the camera on, like this podcast we're doing right now. We said, okay, we want to talk about this topic. But that's as far as it went. We hit record and we started talking.
Yeah.
And that's how we record our videos. That's how we do our investigations. It's the same thing. We don't script anything. We don't have a game plan.
We don't even have a structure, planned out. We may talk about it and say, when we go to this place, this is what we want to do. It never works.
No, we never do anything. We even, when we come up with a basic idea, well, we'll do solo investigations here. We'll go do this room. We end up not doing that.
Yeah.
So, but that's the reality of it, and that's what we try to show.
The actuality.
The actuality, right? If you want the history of a place we go, hey man, get off your butt and go look it up. That's why I do. I'm not here to give you a history lesson of the place.
Yeah, because
we don't do that.
All it's going to be is our perspective of the history lesson.
Our perspective. Okay.
True. Because paid investigations are on their channel.
So, that sets us apart from other people, there's enough people out there doing it the exact same way. We're doing it more original. We're doing it different. Now, again, for people who want to get paid to do what they love, I don't hate on that. If somebody wanted to pay us to do what we're doing, I'm not going to turn them down, as long as they're going to pay us to do what we're doing. See, in most cases, when someone's paying for it, they want it done their way. They're not changing.
Because they're handing you money, and please sign here below.
Exactly. They're not going to change the way we do it. I don't want. I'm not changing it. If they want to pay us to do what we do, good. But if they want to pay us and then change everything that we do, not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. Sorry, bro. That's a no-fly zone.
Yeah.
So again, I don't hate on those that want to do that. That's awesome. I would love for people to pay us to, record podcasts and make videos and go investigate and manage a website and
But then, like I watch a lot of gaming videos, and I don't want to be like the gamer who comes out and he sits down in his chair like he's ready to live stream and he's like, because this person is doing it. It's a job now.
It's a job now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can use it.
I don't want that to happen.
Right. You never want this to turn into
if I like a little money on the side. Even if I wasn't paid, I'd like these places to say, hey, you want to come investigate our place? We're not going to charge you.
Yeah, dude, that would be great. I could take that. They'd be like, you know what? Hey, you guys are known people, watch your videos. Why don't you come and investigate for free? What?
Yeah, because
I'm not asking to get paid. Just don't charge me.
Right? Saves us money.
Hey, what a thought,
Because it costs money to buy all this stuff. I'm looking right there at the portable power.
And we're doing a video that's going to promote them. Now,
Yeah, we are.
But, honestly, right now, we got how many subscribers?
610.
It feels like it. And then out of that,
No, I mean that's the number. It's like 610.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being funny. You're like,
like 6 or 10?
6 or 10. It's like, funny.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that.
So,
I see what you mean now, yeah.
So we've got, close to, we got over 600 subscribers now. We've been doing this for like about 1,000 years. So that's
2012 is when we started our online presence.
Right. So far, our style hasn't really caught on. That's okay. I get it. It takes time. But, so we couldn't argue from the standpoint, hey, we're giving you we're giving you free publicity, We're like, supporting your place because in actuality, with 600 and something subscribers, out of that, our investigation videos were normally pulling down, 30 views if we were lucky?
That's after being posted for a month.
Yeah. So see, we're not getting that kind of, we're not getting the traffic that could warrant saying, hey, why, don't charge us. Look what we're doing for you, because right now it's technically not doing anything.
But from day one, we've always put the effort and the work into doing everything as if we already had a couple thousand subscribers.
Absolutely.
And people are gonna
that's
criticize everything.
Right, yeah, they're going to. I mean, like you say, they complain because, Audrina's, in the videos are making noise. I mean, come on, guys, really?
Yeah.
The people who do that must not have kids.
And the actuality of it is, I have a daughter.
Exactly. Hey, this is real. This is reality.
Am I going to go and tell her, here's a toy, go watch cartoons.
And, shut the door. And,
leave me alone for a couple hours.
Yeah. Doesn't work that way.
I try to limit her honking that little meep, meep, meep.
Right.
But
we need to teach her to say, y'all rednecks better recognize, because then we'd be famous,
But what I want is I want people to see our videos and and I don't mean they have to go in there and leave a thumbs up. I want them to like what they just finished listening or watching.
Exactly.
And say, these guys are really serious about what they do, and they're not doing the sound effects. They're not trying to, put my
embellish anything.
Yeah, and they're not trying to put my mood in a certain, like movies and the TV shows would do.
Like for example, when we were at the Black Swan Inn, and I'm in the milk barn, and we captured what looks like a shadow man looking at me through the window or over by the window, which according to Huck was the exact same. I haven't looked this up yet, but he said that was the same area where Aaron from Ghost Adventures captured a shadow-looking thing. I think he was using thermal. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. But that aside, we didn't say, I didn't dub over that clip and go, could this be the entity known as Sebastian, who was, blah, blah, blah. We don't do that. Why? Because we don't know what it was.
Because that's trying to guide.
Right.
By doing that, you're indirectly guiding the viewer into thinking that subconsciously or just directly.
Exactly. We have no proof of that. All right. I think we got off track a little bit.
It all ties in. We're heading in the same direction.
Okay. So again, what we want to accomplish with this. I'm agreeing with you. I mean, I think first and foremost, we want people to enjoy what we do. We want people to to
be satisfied.
Yeah, to follow along what we're doing, laugh with us, cry with us, whatever. We want them to be involved in what we do, and that's why we take a different approach. When you watch our videos or you listen to our podcast, you are getting a glimpse into us. This is who we are. This is how we are. We're not different off camera or off.
We're not
the mic
putting
stops.
on a show.
No.
We're not putting on an act. This is.
I'm just as goofy as I am now. I'm like this all the time. You're the same way. This is who we are.
And whether we head out to Black Swan Inn, Yorktown, or the local cemetery, you know what it is? Is turn on the camera, face it towards somebody, and start.
Yep.
There is no.
That's as real as it gets. I mean, you don't.
We don't write nothing down and
keeping it real, yo.
When we're at the Black Swan, you could probably see in the video Huck's writing stuff down, but we never saw that paper again.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was taking notes. Tina was doing the same thing. Now, I know they used those notes at certain times, and what that was is getting information from the lady, so we knew which entities were supposedly where, so that we could try to call them out and whatnot. And that was mostly for them. I guess, it's good to know some names and where those names are associated to. But again, like we've talked about in our recent podcast, we especially are the only two paranormal investigators or ghost hunters, for putting it in, terms people, understand.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts.
I tell people I'm a ghost hunter, but
right, so they know.
Out. Yeah, so they kind of have an idea what to expect, but
right. But,
different.
I know, I think I speak for both of us when I say we don't specifically believe in ghosts, spirits, demons, whatever that is. We don't know what we're interacting with. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so...
I feel like there's a booger hanging on my nose. I don't want to pick it.
Get it, Mom.
Go black screen.
Or like put the blur over you, like we're blocking you out. But, when you go to these kind of places and you're told, okay, for example, did I just spit like everywhere? Sebastian and Heinrich, is in the milk barn. Uh-huh. Well, when you go in there, there's only so many ways to ask what's your name, who you are, why are you here, blah, 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 the usual suspects. But,
or fall asleep.
Exactly. If you're told that these are the named entities that reside in this area, you call out for them hoping to get some kind of a response. Doesn't mean if we got some kind of response that Sebastian was the person that did it. You see what I'm saying? I mean, we don't know what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So, but again, going back to what we want, again, is for people to enjoy what we do and see the
work,
the
the
actuality,
effort.
the reality of what paranormal investigation is really like. You don't go in there and, get this rush of excitement and this, constant, yeah, you're excited to be there, but I mean, you don't get this, objects aren't flying, doors aren't slamming, you don't see apparitions walking by, slapping you in the face. It's not people getting scratched constantly. That's the movies and the TV shows. It doesn't really happen like that. At least for us, it has never happened like that. It's
hot sometimes, sweaty.
Yep. Boring. In a lot of cases, it is, I mean, you have to really enjoy what you're doing.
And nothing is going on, as far as you're concerned, live.
Yeah, for us. Now,
yeah,
it has happened to others, so
we may not be in tune, like you said.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So
before.
we go in there and
we're
we're
on
like,
a different frequency.
This place, is
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, pun intended. Nothing's happening here. Sebastian is screaming his spirit head off in my face, but I can't hear him and he can't touch me because I'm on a different frequency. I mean, that is a possibility. I keep the door open for that. But
Just dancing like.
yeah, he's like trying to ghost teabag me and stuff, and I'm like, I got nothing here.
I was snoring and he was like, teabag.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that's disgusting.
What's this about?
Yeah. You're the what's this about guy. How about this?
I wake up and I'm
Salty.
don't eat on camera.
Oh
With a
boy,
microphone in your
where did
mouth.
this go all of a sudden? Oh my god! Quick, get the wheel.
No,
Get back
but-
on the road.
No, but that's who we are. That's what happens.
That is what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
we make
I like that you didn't edit that part out. because-
were you playing
you-
with the mannequin boobs?
Well, I do that for fun.
You did that at Black Swan and Yorktown. If there's naked mannequins, you're gonna play with the boobs, and I get that. You know, what's this about? You know, it's like we do that every time.
Hashtag mannequin boobs.
Oh, we're gonna have to start that.
Hashtag what's this about?
What's this about?
Hashtag
Yeah.
trendsetter.
Yeah. That's too good, man. Too good.
I mean, you know,
But you know, so what do we want from this?
I want people to be happy.
There you go.
You know, I put a lot of hours into photoshopping, drawing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, emailing myself the picture so that I could then text it out to y'all,
Mm-hmm.
transfer it to the computer, you know, another computer, so I can then Photoshop or edit and build a website. That's a lot of work.
Hell yeah.
Then publish it, then go on my devices. It doesn't look the way I published it. Okay, everything's good. Now let me send a link to Shaggy. Hey, I updated the website. You know, not if it's like a minor change. I'm not going to sit there and do that. You know,
Right.
but there's a lot of work involved, and I don't do, you know, I do the editing for these now, but I don't do the investigation edits, and the one you just showed me, there was quite a bit of work, and I remember doing that.
Yeah.
And
It's getting better, you know. I'm really enjoying it, you know.
what does that mean? That means that he's serious about, you know, providing the content. You know, I got to get the shot as well as I can, because if I don't, then my footage is not going to make the video.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah. You know,
But your shots are always good, dude.
but
I mean,
I trust your you know, your judgment when it comes to, you know, getting making the video and what you want, you know, what's going to make the cut.
Oh.
You know.
We're about to get a copyright strike. Oh.
It was all in your mind.